Getting some fans out there watching?
Yeah, it was good to have that group out there. Had about 10 people here, about 6 something in the morning. So they were the first ones. We should have had some special something for them, participation maybe. But no, it's always great to be around the fans, and hopefully we'll have a great turnout on Saturday.
Do you know the plan yet for Saturday? What's going to be?
Probably, but we have a couple different backup plans after. Mainly today, we'll go in and talk to the trainers and the doctors and see where we are with people. Just as far as there's some guys on the bubble of full or limited contact, and the limited contact guys won't be out there.
Are you planning a scrimmage though, at least kind of through a half and then an open in the second half?
That's what will be determined this afternoon. Yeah, it literally is to be determined, just completely based on health. We want to play a game. Yeah.
What's the draft process?
Also to be determined, but most likely our old school draft coaches, frivolity, etc. Is that a word? Should be.
How's Pharaoh Brown looking in his return?
He's looked good. He's been, in and out, but he's looked good, and I think the biggest thing is just confidence. He's getting there functionally from again, he wouldn't be out there if he wasn't cleared from a medical perspective, and so it's just confidence. There's so many guys like that whether it's coming back from anything, if you're a speed guy and you've got a hamstring, you're just naturally going to kind of have a little hitch in your giddy up until you can cut it loose.
Do you think he'll show up in the spring game?
I don't know.
Now that it's kind of towards the end of the spring practice, is the defense where you wanted it to be, or in a sense, where is it going into the fall compared to like other falls? Is it still kind of, are you going to hit the ground running in the fall and kind of expect it to be like past years, or is it still going to be a learning process?
Well, you're always hitting the ground running, I guess, and you're probably never where you want to be until until your record is -0 and everybody has a 4.0 and all that stuff is perfect. But guys have worked hard. I thought today and Friday were really good in terms of back and forth. There were some offensive periods, there were some defensive periods, there were some individuals up front on both sides and the back end on both sides making plays, and so that's what you want this time of year, is fast football. And we're still making plenty of mistakes in every phase, but for the most part, 10 of 11 are playing fast, and that sounds like, really, that's the goal, but that's hard at this stage with so much newness on each side, but pleased with where that is going to end up, I guess.
The coaches talked a little bit about Tyler Osborne, getting him ready for spring football. What has his role been, Osborne, this spring for you guys?
I don't know in that regard, directly in that regard, but Tyler does a great job behind the scenes, and he's increased his role a little bit in terms of what he does with the staff, and he's a hard-working, conscientious, really smart guy, business guy, and has helped out a lot.
Is he an intern still, or is he?
Yeah. Yeah.
What's the longest you've ever been, like, when you've moved jobs? What's the longest you've ever been in, like, housing limbo, kind of like Coach Hoke or Coach Joestar right now?
Oh, the longest I've been in housing. I thought this is the longest I've ever lived in one spot, so Jerry's upset about that. But, housing limbo. The best, when we first moved to Colorado, we were living like in student housing, living in the dorms, and there was a fire alarm like once every other hour during every Thursday, Friday, Saturday night. It was good fun. We always looked like the visiting professors up there. And that was about 6 months. But it's tough. I mean, that's the hardest thing, especially for him with younger kids. I think that was my longest, 6 months. Yeah.
Because they come out here, their families are still at home and stuff. What's kind of like a spring for a coach who's away from?
Yeah, it's good and bad. You're focused obviously on football and getting to know everybody's name and get to know a little something about your guys and everybody else that you're going to be around. Get to know the staff, and then you're trying to take advantage of every half day here and there to either jump up there in recruiting or once spring concludes. We had a great deal, actually, lucky for them, we had different spring breaks, and so they could kind of mix and match that. But it's tough. That's always the hardest part of about any job is being away from your family.
Brady's not throwing any ragers over at the Residence Inn and inviting you guys out.
I've not been invited. If that is the case, I have not.
Vernon gave a spirited interview this morning on the Dan Patrick Show.
Vernon?
Yeah, Vernon Adams did. He said that he should be the second quarterback drafted besides Carson Wentz. Does that surprise you at all that he said that and his confidence in himself?
I'm surprised he didn't say the first. And he, no, I mean he obviously has a reason to be confident and believe in himself, and he's proven himself at all levels, and that'll be an interesting day. A lot of movement, and it'll be very interesting to see what happens.
What kind of potential do you think that he has?
Dakota Crew Cup over here in a minute. So.
What kind of potential do you think he has in the NFL?
Well, it's kind of all system based, just like anybody. Russell Wilson certainly proved that a guy of similar stature. I think Vernon's a little bit shorter than him, but can get it done. You just have to be in the right system. If you have the right defensive matchup, the right coaching matchup, the right tailback, all those things matter a ton. And so hopefully he'll end up in a place where you're not thrown into the fire without any weapons, and maybe giving him some time to develop will help him a lot. But we'll see.
What are your plans for draft day this year?
My agent said that I'm not going to get drafted again, so I'll probably not pay attention. I'm not a huge draft watcher, but obviously excited for the our guys and where they end up, and I'm more as soon as I hear about whoever, DeForest Buckner, whoever else, more talking to those guys. Yeah.
How
many calls are you getting from GMs and scouts on your guys? And does it come all the way up until draft week? Are they doing last minute checks?
It does, especially those top guys. Had a few guys text and call last week on, DeForest and all those things. But the great thing about almost without exception for the last several years is it's easy. It's hey, what the film says is what you're going to get. Great kids. DeForest is a great example of that. Just a great person, and would make any franchise better. So those are fun questions to field.